I'll be showing you how to replace the AC compressor on a 2004 Honda Civic. First thing will be disconnecting the battery. The next thing you'll want to do is check to make sure there's no pressure in the AC of the lines. We'll be checking on the low side. Step back and push down the valve, and if it's pressurized, you'll know it. If it is, take it into a shop and have them recover it. Then take off the tire. You'll take these two fasteners off, and I use snips to get behind it, pull it out. And so from here you'll be able to access the bottom two bolts. But before we do that, we need to address the belt. There's two belts here. The compressor runs off the back belt. So we're going to be removing the belt as well as this belt tensioner bracket here. The bolt on the right just goes into the engine block. The wing nut at the far left sets the tension, and the middle bolt secures it in place. So right now we're just removing it, but when you go to put everything back together and you're going to be setting the belt tension again, this is how you're going to be doing it. Leave the middle bolt loose, and you're going to go to the engine bay and tighten the belt tension with the wing nut. And I do it finger tight until I can't really turn the wing nut anymore. When I do that, the belt tension seems to be good. Once I get that belt tightened with the wing nut, you go back down and you tighten in the middle bolt, and that sets the tension so the wing nut can't loosen up over time. Once you get the belt off, you can go for the bottom two bolts. You can kind of see I was able to get both of them with a size 12 wrench. But for all four of those, I used a leverage trick. So for example, using this wrench, you can use another wrench for leverage. You could position it in different ways. And from here, you will be able to remove the compressor. So this cable is held to the plastic fan housing by this, and it's hard to see. So to get it off, there is a little tab here that you pull back and it will slip off the bracket. And to get this holder off the cable, there's this second little tab inside here. We will be adding PAG 46 oil to the new compressor. Generally, a new compressor should come with 4 1/3 ounce of oil in it. Mine did not, so I had to add it to mine. We'll also be replacing the receiver dryer, and there's a 1/3 ounce. So in total, I should be replacing 4 2/3 ounce. There's a drain plug back here if you want to drain the oil out, and you'll need to spin it to get all the oil out. So I added about 4 ounces to my compressor, and I just used a scale to measure that out. And when you add it, you'll need to put it in the high and low ports, and you'll turn the compressor over to get it to go through the compressor. The next thing I will be doing is replacing the condenser, and the first thing we need to do is get the bumper off. There's a screw up here on both sides. There's 4 of these up here, and there should be quite a few of these on the bottom of the bumper as well that you'll need to remove. Once you get those all off, the bumper should just pull forward. So in the front's the condenser. You'll have 2 bolts, one here, and there's also 2 on the lines. you also have to move some hardware over. So what I do for the O-rings is use tweezers. Let's get behind it and pop it off. I couldn't find an exact number for how much bag oil to add to the condenser, but a good rule of thumb seems to be between 1 and 2 ounces. So I'm going to add a little bit over an ounce to it. Okay, you're going to need a vacuum pump like that, and a set of gauges like this. So the low side, I'm going to connect to the low side, and you can see there it's at 0. I've already vacuumed it, so it's down to 25 mercury inches. Anyways, the vacuum comes up through here and connect the low side. Turn your vacuum pump on, and you'll see it move from 0 down to 25. Hopefully it gets down to like 28. Okay, I just got done vacuuming for over an hour. I'm going to come back in an hour and see if it's the same. Okay, it's been over an hour and we're still there, so there's no leaks. The next thing, we'll be charging it. The system takes about 18 ounces Freon. Fortunately for me, this can is 18 ounces. Otherwise, you would want a scale, and you set this on the scale, and that's how you would determine how much to charge it. Okay, so we're going to be using this gauge on here just to observe. So you hook it up and you let a little bit out, hook it up. At some point I'll be turning the compressor on right about 50. Okay, so I'm going to turn the car on, get the compressor going. Okay, I emptied the bottle. It's 80 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity is 40%. Low pressure is 31 psi. And the high is 160 something. Okay, and it's very cool. Alright, so I shut it off and let it stabilize, and it stabilized at about 90. Alright, I'm going to plug the compressor relay in and see what these do. We've got about 35 and 150. Looks like that's about where it wants to stay.